Aloha. Hey, this is Jim from Hawaii. Just a little update on my dual loop aquaponics system. So let's get right to it, and I just want to go over what little modifications I made and some of the things that I had problems with, and maybe just show you what the plants are doing. So let's start with the fish side. The fish tank is the mechanics of, as far as the filtration is concerned, is really well, working great. The water is still crystal, and the fish are happy. And yeah, I mean, between this little sand filter here, right there, that goes into my little 100 micron sock, and the sieve filter over there, the water stays very clean. Even the algae is at a minimum. You know, my other tank, I had a whole bunch of algae in the inside of the tank and on the walls and everything, but in this one, that's not happening. Maybe it's partially due because I keep it covered, but still, I get some sun in here, and yeah, I'm kind of surprised. One of the modifications I made was this little, you know, I had that kind of a flow before. And so I took this and I just cut a slit in there with a little saw blade, and so that I could get a bit of a better, you know, a bit of a better flow there hitting the water, just to increase oxygen. And then you got my venturi tube over there on the side. See the bubbles coming up over there, and that's down about 2/3 of the way down to the bottom of the tank. And then I've got my 8-inch air stone still pumping away. So oxygen is one thing I have plenty of. I'll never worry about that, because in addition to what's going on in here as far as oxygen, I also have oxygen being created by this sieve filter. You can see as the water cascades down into the bottom of it, it creates quite a bit of oxygen. One of the things about this sieve filter is that I was using 100 micron screen over there, and it was just the screen was just too fine. 100 micron was fine for it. It would clog too easily. It would build up like a shiny, I don't know, film and clog the holes. So in cleaning, I had to clean it all the time. So I went to a 200 micron. 200 micron seems to be actually doing the trick. So 200 micron works a lot better, doesn't clog as quickly, and I only have to clean it once a day. So I'm happy about that. And then of course, you know, water comes out of the debris, the solids with the screen, go into the trough, flow out into this. And then here I've got 2 more screen socks. And let's take this out real quick. Let's see it. So as you can see, these are 300 micron screen socks, and in the bottom of them I have 100 micron felt sock. Each of these has one in the bottom, as you can see. And that just catches everything, all the really fine stuff. And then as it builds up, if I don't change it out in a day, it'll overflow up into the 300 micron and just flow out into the barrel. So it's just a safety precaution that I use, but you know, that's working real well. No problems, no issues. And then of course the biomedia filter is pumping along real well. I have a venturi tube inside, and also have an 8-inch air stone, and that's the air tube for the venturi. Bubbling up nicely. No problems with that. And then I've got my drainage from the radial flow filter and the biofilter. This drains through this solenoid valve, which is a 3/4 inch solenoid valve, and it's wired up to my sprinkler system. so that twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, it drains between 5 and 7 gallons or 5 and 10 gallons, I'm not sure which. Definitely more than 5 and less than 10, how's that? Into my mineralization tank. So basically I'm draining about between 15 and 20 gallons a day. The valve stays on for 2 minutes. I had it started at 1, but as the plants mature and use more water, I had to increase the duration time. So then it goes into the mineralization tank here. And this has a venturi, a spa venturi. There's the feed for it, the water. And it's in the bottom, it's angled down toward the bottom. You can see the air coming up in there. And this is just a little box of rocks to hold the screen down. You can see how it's flipping up. But, you know, it's just a bucket with holes in it down there. And so that keeps these solids in the tank. Alright? And then filters it so that the clean water goes into the main sump tank. Okay. And then the main sump tank. That's the feed from the mineralization tank going into the main sump here. And that is the pump, 1,700 gallons per hour pump. And that is the drain from the plant side. All the plant water coming back into the system from the grow beds. And this tank is an intermediary. This is actually where the grow beds all drain into. This is also my mixing tank. And then from there it goes into the main sump tank. But there's nothing special about this tank. It's just a simple 55-gallon barrel with some drains in it. But it's perfect for mixing stuff, testing the water pH and all that stuff. Water pH for the plant side is 6.5, 6.5, and the fish side is 7.4. And then there's the 3 grow beds. They're all flood and drain, and then the Dutch bucket system here. And as you can see, I have a variety of cucumbers. Now the wind has been really gusty here, sometimes up to 40-mile-an-hour gusts the last couple of weeks, week and a half or so, and it just beat up these plants. You can see the leaves are all battered, and you know the new leaves are looking good, but the old leaves are just brown and torn. But I'm sure they'll come back. I've already taken several cucumbers off of these. Until then, I have tomato plants. They also took a beating, but they're coming back. Can't fight Mother Nature, I guess. So the tomato plants I have are, you know, beefsteak. That's a beefsteak there. I have beefsteak, and you can see how it wants to go over to the neighbor house. I'm gonna have to chain that up the pole there. Brandywines, and then red pear tomatoes. So yeah, doing good. This is my sweet pepper, long slim sweet pepper plant. You can see there's one there. It's got several on here. They're just starting to grow. And then this is one of my red pear tomato plants. These grow in clusters of between 6 and 8. You can see a cluster right there. And it's got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of those clusters on it. You can see this thing's just going viral. Look how tall it's getting. Bushy. And this is a brandywine here. It's got several tomatoes. There's 3 or 4. There's some 4 or 5 there. Oops, there. There's some more back behind. I don't know if you can see them, but they're there. And here's another tomato plant. This is just a new one here that I put in. So then you got your squash plant. You can see there's a squash there coming out. It's got a couple on here. This little sorry looking little Chinese cabbage was a transplant. I took it out of one of the other grow beds and put it in here. And boy, it took its toll on it, but it's coming back now. It was all wilted, now it's all firmed up again as its roots get used to the new environment. And here's another pepper plant, bell pepper. And this is a another yellow pepper plant here. Hot peppers. And it's starting to come up. You can see it's kind of bushy. I probably need to put a stake in it just to keep it off of the carrots back there. The carrots are getting really big. And then there's some more basil. And then here's some more Chinese cabbage. They're doing really well. That's a regular cabbage right there. And I burn it because I put the organic insecticide on it during the day when I wasn't supposed to. Didn't read the instructions. Shame on me. Next time I'll know better. But it's coming back, and I'm sure it'll overcome that. Some Swiss chard and perpetual spinach mixed together here. I've been eating the Swiss chard, man. It's really good. Make it into like a stir fry. There's some basil. I got some cinnamon basil and some lemon basil here. And of course there's a little bee. And that's why I keep the basil and let it flower, because the bees love it. And there's some kale. You can see down there. It goes all the way to the back right there. You gotta start picking that too. You don't eat so much salad though, my goodness. I'm giving some away, I guess. There's a bean plant back there in the back. And I'm training it up there. I have to get that one and train it up that pole. And there's another brandywine tomato plant that I just put in not too long ago. And it's doing well. This cucumber plant was really slow growing at first, but now it's just taking off. It's going up. You see how the cucumber there. And so yeah, it's starting to come off. Go crazy, and you can see it starting to come down here to the bottom. There's another couple cucumbers on there. So I don't know where it's going, but I'll just let it do what it wants. There's some regular green lettuce, and this is just a regular bean plant, string bean. I've already taken quite a few off of this. Had it for supper the other night, mixed with pork and a few other things. Garlic, and some of the Chinese cabbage I was talking about. But it's growing quite a bit. It's vining like crazy. And this is another bean plant, a different variety, but it's not growing as fast. But it is growing, and it does have blooms, so should be some coming out on that one pretty soon. This is my Okinawa sweet potato plant that I use in salads. And this is my bitter melon here, and it's starting to go crazy. Taking off now. There's two plants here actually. And there's a little bitter melon. I don't know if you can see it. There's one right there starting with a flower on top of it. And these grow really quick. When they start to produce fruits, the fruits grow really fast, which is great. I love bitter melon. I use them in stir fries and stuff. They're really good for you too. Some say that's why Okinawans live so long. I don't know. But yeah, that's the system. Everything is working great, and like I said, so far I have been putting some hydroponic mix in the tank. I did one when I first put it up, and that's it. I put about a couple, 16 ounces or 8 ounces of fertilizer in there. There's specifically tomato fertilizer, hydroponic stuff. So that's all I put in there, and then I dose it with iron and magnesium and potassium once in a while, a couple tablespoons. Every week or so, every other week, and that's all I do. And it seems to be responding really well to all of that. So everything's working out just as I hoped it would. Can't complain. Next thing I'm going to do, if I get some time, is build a sand media bed of sand, coral sand specifically, and put it somewhere right down there in the middle. And that will actually be hooked up to the fish tank, because that will take water directly out of the fish tank, and it'll flow back into the fish tank after it's filtered through the sand. And those are supposed to be really good because of, I guess, the surface area of the smaller sand particles and the beneficial bacteria and the mineralization and everything else. I guess I've read about it and heard about it, and that's supposed to be the way to go. Some people at the University of North Carolina did some studies on it, and with some important PhD stuff in front of their names. And so I'm going to give it a shot and see how it works. But the system as it sits is working real well. Thanks for watching. Aloha.